Hey, good morning again. The sun's up. Thank you very much for your energy, baby. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I give her all my love, okay, through my heart. You get all my fire. I'll keep you lit forever. How much fire you got in your furnace? How much fire are you burning? I used to burn up 4,000 pounds of dead firewood every night camping out in the woods. You know, what's funny about this is that you're not even thinking about why you're doing that, even though you already know why you're doing it. If you got to think about it, you're in the past rather than in now time. Why is that? So that fire can burn all night. So that spirit that is in that fire is being communicated in that darkness, so that everything that is in that darkness that is lurking, whether it's a warlock, whether it's a black witch, whether it's a sorcerer, whether it's a demon, there is a powerful light worker in that tent. He knows all about the spirit of fire. Oh, yes, I do. Because I give all that fire to a goddess. You better believe I do. I do love to play, okay? I love to play with energy, okay? But we do no harm because we got way too much love in our heart. That's the energy that we use to celebrate all living spirit. Whether you're in a dog, whether you're in a horse, whether you're in a... You could be in anything. And we will be pushing all that fire and all that light to you so that we never lose a part of everything we give love to. Otherwise, we're losing a part of our universe, which means I'm losing a part of who I am. And I don't want to lose a part of who I am, so I got to keep giving you love, which means we burn a lot of hot light. Absolutely. How much would you like me to go into programming and memory, function, input, output? What is your output? Questions in the mirror. It's sort of like, remember when you were in a classroom and a student, right? And I thought, listen, I'm a student, I'm in your classroom. Now in this system, they tell me since everything is fucking rule driven, excuse my French, that's okay. You get the picture, right? You know when I use that word, the emphasis that I'm placing, okay, on what I'm trying to do, which is what? Communicate. Communicate sound. Okay? A powerful magnetic light amplifier. So you're sitting in a classroom, right? And there you have a teacher that essentially is saying, we're here to program you, by the way. How many students want to stay in the classroom and be programmed units to become energy slaves working for a corporation? Watch that room vanish. Well, teacher, tell us all the truth. You're simply nothing more than a human resource asset for a parasitic corporation. You know, let's be honest about this. Those jobs have already been pre-formatted for us. Okay? One of the reasons that I got a 4.0 GPA coming out of graduate school was not so I could put stars up there and trophies on my shelf. Okay? It was because I had an image in my mind of someday, some future day, of sitting at a table with other beings who are professors, PhDs, Nobel Prize winners, okay? That'll go, where'd you go to school? What was your grade point average? Because this is how they fucking measure you. In their system, in their program, in their memory function programming. I got a 4.0 going through one of your fucking schools. I guess we can't question what you know then because you did a good job. Yes, that's the point. Okay? So that I could reverse or show how all your programming works. So that's how they do it. See, if you show that you have demonstrated how well you've become one of them, they'll give you a seat at their table. Now you're a part of the big club, as George Carlin used to say. Because now you're in accumulating more electron mode instead of giving away more electron mode. It is true, Patty Broussard, you got to have a sense of humor. okay, with these people. Otherwise, you're going to lose your sanity because they're unsane. That's right, they're unsane. Why would you ever use nuclear power when you can use the energy of what it is that you are in which to go fast? In other words, power up your own houses with the energy that is there already for free. Because we got to put a meter on it. That's a parasite. That's a control freak. Because it doesn't know how to generate any love, which means it doesn't know how to generate any light of its own. The purpose of this classroom is to learn how to attract more light. To go faster. So that your waveform speed is in alignment with a girl on the planet. And she will say, you have learned to become an energy giver. You have learned how light works. Good fucking job. You're out of here. That's how it works. Now, a good teacher on this planet should be able to take any child, any Homo sentient sapien, which means we have living spirit, take them for a nature hike, particularly in an area where you got a lot of living magma. Because now you really get to experience the furnace of the cosmos. Okay? The power of that living energy. So when you're experiencing the power of that living energy, man, whoa. You want to be able to put out that kind of energy someday? You want to be able to carve out your own creations inside of a planet ship? Be a teacher in your own right of a great living spirit like the girl on this planet? Then it's easy to learn from her when you're spending all your time in nature, which is why we spend all our time with her. Because now we can feel the power of her signals, the power of her spiritual communication with us. That's what it means to be a steward of the land. That's what it means to be a groundskeeper here. That's what it means to be a healer here. That's what it means to be a teacher here. That's what it means to be a peacekeeper here. Okay? We defend and protect what love creates. It comes out of a birth giver. Okay? So I'm in one of her creations. Okay? And this is a powerful unit. She has allowed me to be able to do things on this planet that are just unbelievably beautiful, which is one of the reasons why when I love to write love letters to girls, I'm using my energy in the energy field, putting it on paper that comes from a tree so that when she picks up that paper, she can feel how much light is being communicated to her, that she can feel in her heart how much light she has. Now we're in alignment with each other. Heart to heart, love to love, spirit to spirit. So I'm always writing to her, the girl on the planet, by sharing how much love I have through her heart and my heart with another heart. So when we are all living through our heart, which is what she gave us to push all that light, we can open up all the gates. The true gatekeepers. Time vectoring all of the energy to experience what is here, what goes in, what goes out. Just like Patty said, I think it was a couple years ago, there isn't anything getting in here or out of here that isn't love and light. She took the gloves off. You're done wrecking her classroom. So that's for the dark and the light. Lack of knowledge, gain more speed, losing speed, gaining density, losing density, higher consciousness, lower consciousness. How much are you aware of that's in all that light? It's infinite. How do you know that? By sitting around somebody that can start telling you stories you've never heard of that are changing, interchangeable characters. Okay? Which means all the scenes, all the living colors that are all there. Which sort of goes back to something I explained in a video that sort of got deleted because I used too much memory storage on this phone, right? And I can't stand their technology because it doesn't move fast enough for me. When you're spinning as much data as you are of everything that you're aware of, which is everything else that is in that universe that you can tell a story about, this phone is impossible to move at that speed. So it means I have to wait for it to do what its function is, which is to process what? Data. Phones and laptops and computers process data. Now, in the olden days, we used to do it by hand, what they used to call a Cardex system. Hey, we got to speed this process up. Why? Because we're producing more data. Okay, so speed the data up. We got to find a way to speed the data up. Now they wanted to go smaller. I forget the name of that law. Not Stewart's law. What was the name of that law? It's like, how small can we go and still process tons of information? Because now we want to be able to produce more graphics, more of what these beings are using, their consciousness of everything that's held in the light, within the light of this computer that we're pushing through all of that information through its circuits. That computer is never going to be able to produce of everything that is held within the light of what love is. Because it's not what that is. We're not a machine. We're living spirit. So you can't capture that much light. Okay? Because that data is spinning so fast that in order for you to be able to capture that much data, you'd have to be running infinite light. Because things are always changing in that light. Wow, a new piece of data. Where'd that come from? Like Patty said one time, when we were looking at something that was coming through the sun gate at the time. Well, you can see the light. That's a ship. Where's it from? I don't know. Where'd it come from? When you begin to realize how data or things happen so fast, how can you account for it? A control freak is in a state of fear because it's in fear of what it doesn't know that is there, that is possible to experience. So if it isn't what love is, okay, what happens? I'm in fear of something I can't control. You can't control what love is because love is the first law. Love is freedom because that energy does no harm. That's the simplest rule I know. Most of the children I grew up with all knew that. That's what the golden rule is. I don't rock your boat, you don't rock mine. Now we're in harmony. That's called wave harmony. So anyway, I got to remember I'm on a time clock, but not really. I do not wear a watch, okay? Because you sort of know how this works, right? Throw all your clocks away. Oh no, I need the clock. Why? Because I need money. So they use information, data, and they use money as the means to program people and keep you within a time clock. So that you're an energy slave to the clock. They use the clock to make money off of energy slaves. So they pre-format the programming. Okay, write it into your memory module, and then you're giving that energy in order to run that program. How do you get out of the program? Easy. Spin more data. Go faster. Now they can't control you. Now you're running first law, which is love is the law. That is the essence of the Declaration of Independence. Okay? I am endowed by myself, because I'm a creator being, to allow myself to be free, because I am a free living spirit. Anywhere I go, I do no harm. So I am free. I represent the highest authority in the cosmos. That's right, you do. So the very idea some other rule-driven memory module is going to try and say that I have the authority to control what love is ass backwards. That's called inverted programming. Okay? Because that's exactly what it is. So that's why when they told me when I was in 10th grade, you got to cut your hair, fuck you. And the horse you rode in on. What planet system or star system did you come from? You're certainly not native here. Because this is a classroom where love is the law. You're not in obedience to the first law. Right? Okay. That's how you know who the aliens are. They're alien to first law. So they called them corpus juris secundum, second law. Those are the real primitives. according to Burgess Meredith. I sort of perceive it through an empathic side, which is, well, Burgess, they just haven't gotten their speed up. That's what we're here for, baby, is to help them understand how to attract more light so they can go faster. And next thing you know, hey, they're in alignment with Gaia. Yeah. So I do my level best to remember that, you know, we all start somewhere, you know. And one of the most painful things for me to know, because I experience it in my heart, is to know that there are beings that are on this planet that do not experience being in spiritual communication with a girl who is in this planet. Because I know, because I experience it every day, how beautiful it is to experience her that way. Okay? So what are our responsibilities as Native Indians, okay, as the peacekeepers, the healers, and the teachers down here? That's an enormous responsibility. Okay? So what I try and do is impart what it is I've learned through what I've experienced, because experience is the best teacher. So that's one of the reasons I put these videos up. Mostly what I was prompted to do these things, to get it out there. And if those who watch these videos can experience in them the nature of sort of how this works, they can connect some dots and go, yeah, you know what? That's true. I can perceive in me, in my spirit, how the programming works. It doesn't serve us well, because we end up doing things that drains light in others, which is going to drain light in me, and that doesn't allow us to build thriving relationships and communities. Because these are the things that I measure, and everybody can measure it themselves. All they have to do is collect the data. It's all there. Even though most of what they produce, that they give to us, it's all based on bullshit. And it's based on bullshit because they run the program. We don't. So the information they're giving you is meant to do what? Disinform us. That's why, you know, I said few years ago, I said, man, I'm unplugging myself from this shit. I'm done. I'm washing my hands of all their shit. I'm out of here. So I figured, okay, so you know what are you going to do for the rest of the time that you're here? I'm going to do my level best to share what it is I've learned here. That's a responsibility that I have. Okay? If you come in here to be a teacher, a peacekeeper, and a healer, then you have responsibilities while you're here, because that's what I do. I look in the mirror and I look at me and I say, what are my responsibilities? What is my function here? What is the purpose and meaning for which I'm here in her planet ship? This is a classroom. And that is to do my level best to keep the peace without harming anybody, which means we're living through our heart. I had to ask myself that a number of times. I've owned a gun before. Okay, I used to own not a Smith & Wesson, but a Colt 45. I learned how to become really good at it, because the guy that taught me how to use one of those things, besides being put in a military academy when I was a child, was a guy by the name of Jack Davis, who was he was a World War II vet with the 5th Marines, was at Saipan. I know he was at Okinawa, then he was at Korea, and then he was a 2-tour Vietnam vet door gunner, gunny sergeant. He was on the pistol team for the United States Marine Corps. I learned a lot from this dude, particularly when it comes to weapons. He was the first guy to tell me, you ever have a reason to pull a gun, you kill him. Do not wound him, kill him. Okay? I guess that's how he survived all those wars. He was a fire captain that worked on a different shift than I did, down at the Naval Weapons Station in Seal Beach. Okay? But I have to remind myself, listen, I don't use a gun as a weapon. Okay? I use my heart. My heart is my greatest protection. Okay? That's my shield. So I have to remind myself, listen, I'm not what that is. That's why this dimension, I don't fit in here. Okay? I never did fit in here. Because there's just a lot of things, even though they work the way that they do with her, it's painful for me to experience anything that is living that is ever losing any of its energy. You know, a lion and a zebra? I'm experiencing the pain in the zebra. That's difficult for me. I have a very difficult time here. So, so what am I going to do while I'm here? What are we all going to do while we're here? Well, if we get our energy up and start attracting more light, we're running at a different speed rate. That means our consciousness of everything that is held within that light allows us to be free. Now we can use the creative imagination from which all of that is unleashed. And that allows us to essentially rewrite a whole new movie and build a thriving community with each other. That's what I do with my energy, is trying to perceive a world in which I'm a part of what that is in that process to do that. And when we're all doing that together, then you can imagine the potential that we have, which is unlimited. We have unlimited potential. When you know that as a child and you grew up, and this thing's getting old, okay? Although I don't think in terms of old or time, I simply think of what love is, which is what the light is, which is how much fire do you have to burn the hottest light, which is infinite fire. So anyway, I'll leave you with that to think about. That really includes a lot of stuff. I don't have a makeup artist and a studio and a handler and all that junk. I just share whatever comes to me at the time in which it comes to me for the reasons that we're here, which is to maintain the peace, heal those that suffer, okay, and teach children in particular who haven't, gets into all the programming stuff. I worked with one guy and tried to share a lot of information to see how he'd respond. Like with Misha, the girl on Oahu. The first thing I did with her, and this is sort of a measurement, that you can imagine yourself how this works. Okay, I wrote her a 26-page love letter about unconditional love, right? Because she asked me to be a spirit guide, so I thought, okay, I'm going to get a benchmark. I'm going to see where you're at with your heart. So I wrote from my heart, because I lived through my heart, and I wrote her a love letter. And she came in and she goes, I love what you wrote. Oh, yeah. Okay? That told me that regardless of how much pain and suffering and sexual and emotional abuse and physical abuse she's been through since she was a small child, okay, that it's possible to restore her heart. Get her energy back up. Restore that powerful spirit in her, right? And I had images of that. I had images of her, of releasing all of that resistance that was held in memory. Get rid of all that junk that is not serving her. So she asked me to help her do that. See, I can't do it for her because it's her who's living her life. I live my life, she lives hers. But what I can do is help her to restore her heart so she can get rid of all the junk. So one of the ways in which we do that is to restore the memory. Restore the memory of what light is, which is what love is. That they have within them, they can feel. That restores the heart. Now they're living through their heart. Now they can feel how powerful the energy that they're experiencing is through the heart. That lights the fire up. Now they're restored. Now they're a powerful spirit. Now their shield, okay, allows them to be free to be who they are. Now they're in a state of love and joy. Now they're living in a state of peace. And her 4-year-old little daughter is going to begin to start feeling her mother in a more powerful way because the energy that she's using to experience herself is powerful energy. Now her little girl is experiencing the power of that energy. Okay? So the child begins to realize how powerful that energy is. Okay? That's what I was trying to essentially impart because I realized that she was running O negative. So it doesn't matter to me whether you got reptilian in you or not. I believe in my heart, and I will always believe this until the cows come home. Love is the most powerful energy. So regardless of whatever has happened to you, love can restore you to feel through your heart what love is again from what happened here. I'll leave you with that. I love you all. Have a beautiful day.